Well, with the heat over the last week or so, many people have been staying inside, especially if they have air conditioning at home.
And that means there's an audience for crews selling everything from propane gas to magazines door to door. And that's where we start this week's Call for Action report with our colleague, Adam Schrager.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, thanks for having me again. There is a relatively new law here in Wisconsin that regulates this kind of activity. So we're clear, it is not illegal to sell door to door, but any company doing so is obligated to obtain a permit and consent to its workers undergoing background checks. The policy is called Melinda's Law, after a young woman who died in Janesville after the van she was in with 13 others crashed while they were selling magazines door to door. Well, Betty Cassidy called us from Monroe after being visited by a gas company looking for a sale. She contacted the Call for Action volunteers to see if there was a scam underway. No scam. They discovered that the company that came to her door is registered to do so here in Wisconsin. But it's nice to always remind people they can ask to see the registration of that company, or if they're uncomfortable and somebody knocks on the door, they can always call the police.
They sell propane door to door?
They sell gas. They sell everything door to door, Mark. It's a tough economy.
It is,
Come on.
That's a good idea to ask to see the registration. That's
Always
a good thing,
good to know.
Good thing to remember, yeah.
And last week you shared some stories, some large amounts of money that was awarded that the volunteers got for some folks, and you have another one for us tonight, right?
This is a good one. Yeah, it's a big one. Happy to help Dolores and Douglas Reichstadt with their problem. Douglas worked for a long time at Oscar Mayer, and he suffered some hearing loss on the job. Now, the company had always paid for his hearing aids in the past, but something changed last September when he was told that Oscar Mayer had not paid nearly $3,200 for his new hearing aids. Both Douglas and Dolores are retired, having some health issues. They don't have a lot of money, so there was no way they could pay that kind of money out of pocket. Well, last week, after nearly 11 months after fighting this on their own, they called for action. And it didn't take more than an email and a phone call from our volunteers. Oscar Mayer came through, and Douglas is going to get his new hearing aids, and he and his wife are not going to have to pay that $3,200 cost.
Wow.
For
We
it.
like to hear that.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's a good ending to it.
But with the good comes the bad, and there's a couple of people who've been impacted by a business that went under recently.
I saved the bad for the end.
Yeah,
I wanted
that's
to get
smart.
the good stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, sometimes we do enter people's problems at a stage where it's too late for us to help, and that seems to be the case for Judy Harris in Ridgeway and Katie May in Middleton. Both of them brought items to be sold at a consignment shop called The Right Place on the west side of Madison. Well, the store closed, and both are now out their products and whatever money they were due to get if they were sold. I visited the business owner's home, gave her multiple phone calls. She only called me back once to say she didn't want to talk to me. Both Judy and Katie are now looking into suing her in small claims court. If you do have products to sell, you can always do so online yourself through websites like eBay or Craigslist. And if you don't want to do that, feel free to ask the consignment shop owner for references for satisfied customers. And if they won't or can't give them to you, you have your answer as to whether you want to sell your goods there anyhow. If you have consumer problems that you want us to help solve, or if you want to be a volunteer for the Call for Action team, our current volunteers are really busy. You can always go to our website, channel3000.com/call-for-action. You can go there anytime, or you can call 608-270-2833. The Call for Action hotline is open 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1.
And they'll take all sorts of calls. It doesn't necessarily have to be a business going out of business.
No, not at all. In fact, I was working on a story today. I was out in Iowa County on a story of an individual who has a problem with the land and the DNR. So we'll be bringing folks that story on Friday. We got involved and decided to help him out and ask some questions, and we'll be bringing those stories. So sometimes it could be a governmental agency, sometimes it could be a business, sometimes it could be a healthcare provider. You know, people are willing to help. They're willing to help on pretty much anything.
It's good to know there's people that can help. Yeah, they're
the
doing
volunteers
great
are great.
work.
Yeah, they really do.
All right, thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Appreciate it.